Kai and Mia had spent 4 wonderful years building their lives together, their bond deepening with every shared dream and whispered secret. Their days were filled with laughter, late-night talks about their future, and cozy evenings spent wrapped up in each other's arms. Friends often marveled at their connection, believing they were destined to marry. They shared inside jokes, went on spontaneous adventures, and supported each other's aspirations, creating a life that felt rich with possibility. But when Kai met Lila, a captivating artist with an infectious laugh, everything changed. Lila entered his life like a whirlwind, drawing him in with her vibrant personality and carefree spirit. And suddenly, the solid foundation of Kai and Mia's relationship began to tremble under the weight of new, unfamiliar feelings. Lila sparked something in him that he hadn't realized was missing, a wild, uncharted passion that sent shivers down his spine, igniting a fire within him that he thought had long been extinguished. Her adventurous spirit made every moment feel alive, from spontaneous road trips to art shows that stretched into the early hours of the morning. Soon he found himself entangled in a whirlwind romance that felt electric yet perilous, as if he were teetering on the edge of a thrilling cliff. Their laughter echoed through the streets like a siren's call, drawing him deeper into this intoxicating new world. But then, one fateful night, Lila revealed she was pregnant, throwing Kai's world into chaos. The news crashed over him like a tidal wave, overwhelming his senses and forcing him to confront the stark reality of his choices, leaving him torn between two lives that seemed to pull him in opposite directions. Torn between the life he had meticulously built with Mia and the unexpected responsibility of a child with Lila, Kai made a fateful decision that would alter the course of his life forever. On the eve of their wedding, a day that was supposed to mark the culmination of their love, he found himself gripped by panic and uncertainty. With trembling hands, he dialed Mia's number, his heart pounding in his chest like a war drum. The phone call lasted only a few excruciating minutes, but those fleeting moments shattered Mia's heart into a million irreparable pieces. The joyous anticipation she had felt just hours before evaporated, leaving her alone at the altar, surrounded by confused family and friends who exchanged bewildered glances. As she stood there in her wedding dress, the weight of betrayal pressed heavily upon her shoulders, making it hard to breathe, while the dreams of their future together crumbled like dust at her feet. Days turned into weeks, and Mia fell into a deep depression, enveloped by an overwhelming sense of loss and betrayal. She struggled to understand how the man she had envisioned spending her life with could hurt her so profoundly, leaving her adrift in a sea of unanswered questions and aching memories. Each morning felt like a heavy burden, and the vibrant world outside her window faded to grayscale. Meanwhile, Kai and Lila moved to a quaint coastal town, seeking to build a new life together, far from the judgmental gazes of their families and friends. They hoped that this fresh start would allow them to escape the consequences of their actions, to bask in the warmth of a love that felt reckless yet exhilarating. But as the sun set on their new beginning, casting long shadows across the sandy shore, doubt began to creep in, whispering unsettling questions about the foundation of their relationship. Was this love built on genuine connection, or was it merely an escape from the life they had left behind? The picturesque scenery could not mask the growing unease that gnawed at Kai as he grappled with the weight of his choices and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. 3 years later, Mia had finally begun to heal from the heartbreak that had once consumed her. She had secured a job at a charming local bookstore, a sanctuary filled with shelves brimming with stories of love, resilience, and hope. The scent of aged paper and ink wrapped around her like a warm embrace, providing comfort as she immersed herself in the narratives of others. It was within this haven that she met Leo, a kind-hearted writer with a gentle spirit and a passion for storytelling. He quickly recognized the strength that lay beneath Mia's calm exterior, admiring her journey and the way she carried herself with quiet dignity. Leo became a steady presence in her life, effortlessly weaving his own story into hers, showering her with the affection and understanding she had longed for during her darkest days. With him, Mia found laughter and warmth, an unexpected joy that reminded her that life could still hold beautiful surprises. Together, they explored the depths of literature and the heights of their dreams, slowly building a connection that felt both safe and exhilarating, like the first light of dawn after a long night. Yet despite Leo's unwavering persistence and undeniable charm, Mia hesitated to let him in fully. Her heart still bore the deep scars of betrayal, each wound a reminder of the love she had lost and the trust that had been shattered. The fear of vulnerability loomed large in her mind, making her wary of love's promise, as if opening her heart again would invite more pain. But Leo's sincerity was a gentle force, steadily chipping away at her defenses. He was patient, understanding, and never pushed her beyond her comfort zone, allowing her to explore her feelings at her own pace. After months of friendship, during which they shared countless late-night conversations and quiet moments filled with laughter, Leo finally gathered his courage and proposed. The moment was charged with emotion, filling Mia with a hope she thought had long faded from her life. As he knelt before her, his eyes shining with genuine affection, Mia felt a rush of warmth, a flicker of possibility igniting in her chest. This wasn't just a proposal. It was a promise of a new beginning, a chance to rewrite her story. Yet even in her heart's flutter, a whisper of doubt lingered, urging her to tread carefully as she stood at the precipice of a love that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. As she accepted, a new chapter of her life unfolded, yet the past lingered like a haunting melody, echoing in the corners of her heart. Mia couldn't shake the feeling that every joy came with the weight of what she had lost. She found herself smiling more often, but shadows still danced around her memories, reminding her of the love that had once felt so secure. Meanwhile, across town, Kai and Lila were caught in their own whirlwind, believing their life together was picture perfect. Lila spent her days immersed in vibrant colors, painting beautiful canvases that reflected her passion for life, while Kai worked tirelessly to provide for their growing family. They shared laughter and dreams, but beneath the surface, the facade began to crack. Leela's radiant smile sometimes faltered, and Kai noticed her gazes lingering on the past, an unspoken tension building between them. Then the unexpected happened. Blake, Lila's charismatic ex-boyfriend, resurfaced in their lives. His sudden appearance was like a storm on a clear day, stirring up feelings Lila thought she had buried. Blake was charming and persuasive, easily slipping back into her world and igniting old emotions. Kai felt an unsettling knot in his stomach, sensing the shadows of his own choices creeping back into their lives, threatening to unravel the fragile happiness they had built together. As tensions rose, both couples faced the specter of their past, uncertain of what the future might hold. Blake's sudden appearance sent shockwaves through their lives, reverberating with an intensity that neither Kai nor Lila could have anticipated. The casual facade of their family life shattered when Blake revealed a shocking truth. He was the real father of Lila's child, not Kai. Those words hung heavy in the air, slicing through the bond they had forged with a brutality that left them gasping for breath. Kai felt the ground shift beneath him, each revelation a fresh blow to his already fragile sense of self. The life he thought he had chosen, filled with dreams of love and commitment, collapsed like a house of cards. His mind raced, replaying the moments that had led him to this point. Every smile, every promise, now tainted by betrayal. Lila struggled to justify her actions, her voice wavering as she tried to explain the past they had both been running from. But the sincerity in her eyes began to wane, overshadowed by guilt and confusion. In that moment, the weight of regret bore down on Kai like an anchor, dragging him into the depths of despair. Memories of Mia flooded back, their shared dreams, their laughter, and the love that had felt so unshakable. Had he really traded that for a lie? As he grappled with the enormity of his loss, he was left to question the choices that had led him here, haunted by the realization that sometimes the path to happiness is paved with heart-wrenching truths. In his heart, Kai knew he had to confront the truth, a gnawing realization that could no longer be ignored. The weight of his actions pressed heavily on his chest as he made the painful decision to seek out Mia, the woman he had betrayed so profoundly. Arriving at her family's home felt like stepping into a courtroom where the verdict had already been decided. He was met with cold stares and silent disapproval, the air thick with the unspoken words of her family, each glance a reminder of the pain he had caused. Desperation propelled him forward, and he found himself standing outside Mia's workplace, a quaint little bookstore where she had once shared her dreams with him, their laughter echoing off the shelves. Gathering every ounce of courage, he pushed open the door and felt a rush of emotions. There she was, glowing, 7 months pregnant, surrounded by books that had become her sanctuary. She was radiant and thriving in her new life, an image that both warmed his heart and shattered it all over again. "Mia, please," he pleaded, his voice cracking with raw emotion. "I'm so sorry. I made a terrible mistake." Each word felt like a dagger, a painful admission of the betrayal he had inflicted on her. As he stepped closer, he saw the flicker of surprise in her eyes, quickly replaced by a guarded expression. The years apart had changed them both, but the scars of their shared past remained. Mia looked at him with a mixture of pity and strength. "You broke my heart, Kai. I've moved on. I'm happy now." Though her forgiveness eased some of his pain, it was clear that their paths had irrevocably diverged. Mia's eyes held a mixture of understanding and sorrow, as if she were extending a lifeline, while simultaneously acknowledging the deep chasm that now separated them. The warmth that had once radiated between them felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by the reality of his choices. With a heavy heart, Kai walked away, each step feeling like a farewell, not just to Mia, but to the life they could have built together. The vibrant laughter they once shared echoed in his mind, a haunting reminder of what was lost. As he stepped outside, the sunlight felt harsher, the world around him blurring into a haze of regret. He had traded the warmth of true love for a fleeting passion, and now he was left standing amidst the ruins of his decisions, grappling with the consequences. As he drove through the familiar streets of their shared past, he couldn't help but reflect on the countless moments that had defined their relationship. The late-night conversations, the spontaneous adventures, and the quiet Sundays spent wrapped in each other's arms. Each memory was a bittersweet reminder of a future he had carelessly discarded. The realization struck him with painful clarity. He had not only lost Mia, but he had also forfeited the possibility of redemption and healing that might have come from their shared love. Meanwhile, Lila and Blake attempted to navigate their tumultuous relationship, but the weight of their deception hung over them like a dark cloud. Lila felt trapped, her dreams of an idyllic life crumbling around her as Blake's resentment simmered just below the surface. Every time she glanced at the vibrant canvases in her studio, once filled with inspiration and hope, they now felt like stark reminders of her choices. The colors seemed to lose their vibrancy, mirroring the bleakness that had seeped into their lives. Blake, still reeling from the shock of being replaced as the father, struggled to mask his anger. Each interaction between them was laced with tension, the air thick with unspoken words and unresolved issues. He often found himself questioning Lila's fidelity, and with every moment of silence, his doubts festered. Was she truly committed to their family, or was she still holding on to memories of her life with Kai? Their nights were filled with arguments that echoed through their small home, disrupting the fragile peace they tried to maintain. Lila's frustration grew as Blake's jealousy overshadowed their attempts to build a future together. "I can't keep living like this, Blake," she finally exclaimed one evening, her voice trembling with emotion. "You need to trust me. I chose you." "But did you really?" he shot back, his eyes darkening with doubt. "You ran back to Kai the moment things got tough. You think I don't see how you look at him?" The accusation hung in the air, heavy and suffocating, pushing Lila to the brink. Feeling suffocated by the weight of their secrets, Lila retreated to her art studio, desperate to escape the spiraling chaos of her life. As she picked up her brush, she poured her turmoil into each stroke, hoping to reclaim the joy that once defined her passion. But even as the paint blended on the canvas, the shadows of her choices loomed large, blurring the line between creativity and despair. She realized she needed to confront her reality before it consumed her entirely. Back in town, Kai faced the harsh reality of his choices. Friends who once celebrated his engagement now turned away, their avoidance a painful reminder of the life he had carelessly discarded. Each interaction felt like a ghost of what could have been, leaving him isolated and adrift in a sea of regret. The laughter and camaraderie that had once filled his days were replaced by an oppressive silence, echoing the emptiness in his heart. Every morning he would walk past familiar spots, the coffee shop where he and Mia used to share dreams over steaming cups, the park bench where they had carved their initials into the wood, now faded and forgotten. Those places, once filled with joy and laughter, now only served as a stark reminder of his loss. He felt the sting of loneliness sharper with each passing day, like a persistent ache that refused to fade. At home, Lila's vibrant art filled the walls, but it felt increasingly hollow. What had once inspired him now felt like a reminder of the chaos they had built together, a chaotic masterpiece that hid the cracks beneath its surface. Kai would watch her paint, mesmerized by her talent, yet haunted by the reality that their life was built on lies. Her joy felt distant, a world away from the turmoil that brewed in their home. Late at night, he often found himself staring at the ceiling, plagued by memories of Mia's laughter and the warmth of her embrace. He longed for the simplicity of their love, the way it had felt like home. But now he was trapped in a relationship defined by uncertainty and betrayal, forced to confront the consequences of his actions. The weight of regret pressed down on him, suffocating and relentless, as he realized too late what he had sacrificed. Desperate to find closure, Kai returned to Mia's neighborhood, hoping to catch a glimpse of her happiness from afar. He drove slowly through the streets they had once strolled hand in hand, the memories flooding back with each passing house. Each sight of her filled him with a mix of sorrow and guilt, a bittersweet reminder of the life he had willingly abandoned. As he turned a corner, he spotted Mia walking her dog, her hair catching the sunlight like a halo. She laughed as she tossed a ball for the dog to chase, her smile radiant and carefree. But instead of feeling a sense of relief at seeing her well, his heart sank deeper into a pit of despair. It struck him then how utterly foolish he had been, trading a profound love for a fleeting desire. The realization hit him like a wave, crashing over him, leaving him gasping for breath. He watched as she interacted with neighbors, her kindness and warmth evident in every conversation. She had built a life, thriving in a way he had never imagined she could after their breakup. Each moment he observed felt like a dagger to his heart, a constant reminder that his decisions had irrevocably changed both their lives. The vibrant love they had once shared had been replaced by a chasm of loss, one that would follow him forever. As he drove away, tears streaming down his face, he knew he could never go back to that happiness. The pain of his choices would be a part of him, a permanent scar etched into his soul. And yet in that moment of clarity, he understood that he had to let Mia go, not just for her sake, but for his own. He had to learn to live with the consequences of his actions, to accept that sometimes love is not enough to mend what has been broken. As months turned into years, Kai found himself in a constant battle with his regret. He moved to a new city, hoping to escape the memories that clung to him like shadows. Yet no matter how far he traveled, the echoes of his past haunted him. Every smile he passed on the street, every couple holding hands, felt like a reminder of what he had lost. He tried to fill the void by throwing himself into work, but success felt hollow without the love that had once illuminated his life. Meanwhile, Mia flourished in her new life with Leo. They created a warm and nurturing home, filled with laughter and love, the kind that Kai had once envisioned for them. Leo embraced Mia's quirks, celebrating her strengths and supporting her through challenges. As they prepared for the arrival of their child, Mia's joy radiated. She glowed with a happiness that felt palpable from afar. Kai often found himself scrolling through social media late at night, glimpsing their life through carefully curated posts. Each photo of Mia, her smile wide and genuine, and Leo radiating pride as he cradled her growing belly, struck Kai with a blend of admiration and heartache. He couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy, jealous of the life they shared, the love that flourished without him, and the family he had forfeited. Despite his attempts to start anew, Kai struggled to find purpose. He bounced from job to job, never quite feeling at home anywhere. He filled his apartment with art and decor, trying to mimic the warmth he had seen in Mia and Leo's life. But it all felt like a facade. Nights were the hardest. In the silence, he replayed the moments that had defined him. Mia's laughter, the way her eyes lit up with passion, and the love they had built together. As the seasons changed and years slipped by, Kai tried to convince himself that he had moved on, that the pain was simply a part of growing up. Yet, deep down, he knew he was still that man who had once made a fateful choice, and the weight of his decisions never truly left him. The longing to be part of Mia's life gnawed at him, an ache that refused to fade. In those quiet moments of reflection, he often wondered if he would ever be free from the burden of his past. Would he always be haunted by the image of a love he had sacrificed on the altar of impulse? Would he ever find the courage to reach out, to apologize, or was he destined to live with the consequences of his choices forever? The uncertainty loomed large, overshadowing the hope that he could ever find peace. On a rainy afternoon, as Mia cradled her newborn in her arms, she felt an overwhelming surge of gratitude for the journey that had brought her to this moment. The soft pitter-patter of raindrops against the window created a soothing soundtrack, wrapping her in a cocoon of warmth and love. Each gentle coo from her baby felt like a reminder that she had emerged from the storm stronger and more resilient than ever. She had learned that true resilience comes not from avoiding pain, but from embracing it, allowing those experiences to shape, rather than define, her future. The heartache of her past with Kai had been a formidable teacher, guiding her through darkness and helping her rediscover her strength. It had taken time, countless tears and moments of doubt, but she had risen from the ashes of betrayal, forging a new life filled with hope and happiness. As she looked down at her child, she felt a swell of love that filled the empty spaces that had once been reserved for dreams that had shattered. This little life represented everything she had fought for: a fresh start, a chance to create a loving home, and a future unclouded by betrayal. With Leo by her side, she had built a life that was rich with laughter, patience, and the kind of love that felt effortless. In those quiet moments, Mia reflected on how far she had come. The bookstore where she had found solace and strength had become more than just a job. It was a community that supported her dreams. She recalled the initial hesitance she had felt when Leo first entered her life, the walls she had built to protect her heart. Yet Leo had patiently chipped away at those defenses, showing her that love could be safe, nurturing, and unwavering. As she held her baby close, Mia promised herself to honor her past while cherishing the present. She would tell her child about the importance of resilience, of finding strength in vulnerability, and of the beauty in second chances. She wanted her child to understand that life is not defined by the mistakes of others, but by the courage to rise above them. In the days that followed, as the rain continued to fall, Mia found herself writing again, filling pages with her thoughts and experiences. She penned letters to her baby, weaving stories of love, hope, and lessons learned from the past. With every word, she felt lighter, as if she was not just documenting her life, but actively shaping it. One day she hoped to share these letters with her child, to impart the wisdom she had gained through heartache and healing. She envisioned sitting together in a sunlit room, sharing stories and laughter, while the world outside blossomed with life. And though the memories of Kai would always linger in the corners of her heart, she felt a profound sense of peace. She had transformed her pain into a powerful narrative, one that would guide her child and remind them that even amidst the fiercest storms, the sun would eventually break through, illuminating the path ahead. In a twist of fate, Kai received a message from a mutual friend about Mia's new family. As he sat alone in his sparsely furnished apartment, the weight of regret settled heavily on his chest. He stared blankly at the wall, memories of happier times with Mia flooding his mind like an old song that he couldn't shake. Each note brought with it the sharp reminder of what he had lost, a love that once felt like home. His friend's message revealed snippets of Mia's life now filled with joy, laughter, and the warmth of a new family. She had a partner who cherished her and a child who was a testament to their love. As Kai read the words, an overwhelming sorrow washed over him. He felt like a ghost haunting the edges of a life he could have shared but had thrown away. It was as if the universe had conspired to remind him of his choices, and he could no longer escape the consequences. Sitting there, Kai finally understood the gravity of his mistakes. Love once broken was not something that could be easily mended. It was a delicate tapestry that required care, honesty, and unwavering commitment. His infidelity with Lila had not only cost him Mia, but had also built walls around his heart that felt insurmountable. He realized now that true happiness required a foundation of trust, something he had shattered without a second thought. Days turned into weeks as Kai wrestled with his emotions. He attempted to fill the void by diving into work and pursuing new interests, but nothing seemed to quell the ache inside him. The vibrant life he had imagined with Mia felt like a distant dream, replaced by a stark reality where he was left to grapple with his decisions alone. Every laugh he heard in passing, every happy family he saw on the street, was a reminder of the happiness he had so carelessly discarded. One evening, as he stared out at the city skyline from his apartment window, he reflected on how far he had strayed from the man he used to be. The carefree spirit he had once embodied felt foreign, buried beneath layers of guilt and regret. He longed for redemption, for the chance to turn back time, but deep down he understood that such a wish was futile. The only path forward was to confront the consequences of his choices and learn from them. With a newfound determination, Kai picked up his phone and scrolled through his contacts, hesitating as he hovered over Mia's name. He had thought about reaching out countless times but had always held back, fearing her rejection and the hurt he had caused. But now, as he reflected on the lessons he had learned, he realized that he owed it to her, if not for reconciliation, then at least for an apology. Taking a deep breath, he sent a simple message. Mia, I hope you're well. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I truly regret how I hurt you. He hit send and felt a mix of anxiety and relief wash over him. Whatever her response might be, he was ready to face it. For the first time in a long while, he felt a flicker of hope that perhaps there was a way to make amends, to begin to heal the wounds he had inflicted, not only on Mia but on himself as well. As he waited, he thought about what Mia's life must be like now. She had found happiness, something he had never anticipated she would be able to achieve after he had shattered her world. The image of her with Leo and their child filled him with a bittersweet longing. He knew that he could never reclaim what they had, but he hoped that, in some way, he could express his regret and perhaps even find closure for himself. The following morning, as sunlight streamed into his apartment, Kai's phone buzzed. His heart raced as he saw Mia's name light up the screen. He opened the message cautiously, bracing himself for whatever response she had to offer. Mia, thank you for your message, Kai. It means a lot to hear from you. I appreciate your apology. I've moved on, but I hope you find peace too. Her words were gentle but firm, a reminder of the strength she had cultivated in the face of his betrayal. Kai felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. She was right. She had moved on, and he was happy for her. Yet the acknowledgement of his past transgressions felt like a weight lifting slightly, allowing him to breathe a little easier. Though they could never return to what they once shared, Kai knew that this conversation was a step toward healing. In that moment, he made a silent vow to honor her resilience by becoming a better person, not just for himself, but for anyone who crossed his path in the future. As he closed his eyes, Kai envisioned a future where he could learn from his mistakes, build meaningful relationships, and foster a life grounded in honesty and love. He might never erase the scars of his past, but perhaps he could create a new legacy, one defined not by regret, but by the growth and understanding that could only come from acknowledging his failures and striving to do better. The story culminated in a moment of reflection for both Kai and Mia. Each faced their choices and the paths they had taken, one grounded in regret and the other blossoming in newfound joy. They had both learned that love is fragile, often tested by the choices we make, and that the heart can heal, but the scars will always remain as reminders of what once was. The tale of Kai and Mia serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences